Hey, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. How are you?
Good, good. Welcome.
Thanks, man. Nice shirt.
So first off, how have you been doing? What week in quarantine is this for you?
Oh, man. Since, well, let's see. I guess school was let out a week before spring break. And it's been since then. I mean, yes, I guess mid-March.
Yeah, so
Mid-March,
that's
on lockdown. And I mean, it's, the natives are restless. I am too. I'm like, get me the hell out of the house. But then I look around at, you know, people being idiots in the street and destroying property and burning down cars and killing each other. I'm just like, maybe I don't want to get out of the house. I just,
right.
Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
And you're in Texas right now. What's the climate bent right now in Texas in terms of the quarantine? Because it's different from, how New York City was, right? Like I was in the heart of the epicenter of the most cases in a very dense environment and a very tense environment where every day you go out is like some sort of intensity of like, don't touch anything, don't go near anybody, wear a mask. Like, what's the environment there for you, Hebben?
I've done some traveling since all this started too. And
Okay.
I think the worst I've seen of it was in LA, but Dallas, it's not too bad.
It's amazing how something as small as this is impacting the entire world and in a lot of different capacities, right? Like you have people that have, lost loved ones due to the virus and you don't understand it. And then they instill this fear of like, for instance, my mom has a pacemaker and my mom would have loved for me to come down for my sister's graduation. But with my mom having a pacemaker and me being fed all of this information about like, hey, asymptomatic people can transfer the virus and all that stuff. And anybody that has asthma or pre-existing conditions and over the age of 50, they're in real danger of dying from this. And my mom is, past her 50s. She has the pacemaker. I don't know if I'm asymptomatic. And then you've got the media feeding of like, oh, half of these antibody tests are coming back with false positives or false negatives. And who knows, you might not now. We don't even know if antibodies means that you're immune to it now. So it's like there's all of these things feeding me going, well, gosh, I'm afraid to go near my mom now. So you have the mental anxiety of, if I go near somebody I love so much and hug them, am I going to infect them, make them ill, and possibly kill them?
Yeah, and that's real. That's real in the
Yeah.
hearts and minds of everybody in every home in America.
Right.
Whether your elderly mother or your newborn child or somewhere in between, So, it creates a fear, but is it an unusual fear? Is it a normal fear?
Well, look, let's go to something positive of what we can do in this time now, because you are also somebody that like is very heavily involved with like mental health and making sure that people are taking care of themselves, especially in lockdown. What have you and your family been doing that you could share with fans about like, hey, if you're feeling all these things, the pent up frustration, the fear of being around family members, like what can we do right now to just kind of work past this as best as we can?
Rule number one, I would stay off anything that's going to get you intoxicated.
Okay.
Alcohol, cigarettes, though they have a stimulating effect in the beginning, they're depressants. So you get that high, then you get the crash. It's just a fact. Now, if you're one of those who truly can control your drinking and have a night where you have a few drinks and just unwind, great. But I've never met an alcoholic that thought they were an alcoholic and decided, oh, I've got it under control. They all, none of them have a problem that I know of. So I would caution the use of those things because they're depressants. Positive things, I've been working out with my kids. I have my oldest son, he's 10. We've been in the garage lifting weights. We've been running around the block. We've been doing all kinds of stuff. We've been talking about nutrition and working on a lot of different stuff. We're doing some reading together. So it's not just do as I say, but here's the information. Here's the literature. Here's a book. And he's young. So it's, let's check out this this fitness magazine, and it's always got the guy with the perfect abs or the girl with the perfect butt on on the cover.
Right.
And I look at him and I say, listen, looking at this, how does this make you feel? It's like, oh, well, I want to be like that. Well, guess what? You can be, but you have to be greater than the average of the average men in the world in order to get that way, because you have to be dedicated enough to give up all the things that got him there. So I guess the point is mindset. Find something that you can do both as a family, and don't forget that whether you're a family of 2 or a family of 10, it's still a family of 10 individuals. So while doing things together is important, finding things that are important to you as an individual are critical. You have to have time. And whether you're a thinker and you like to do that in your bedroom or out on a run, I love to do it on a run, especially in crappy weather. Don't ask me why. The harder it's raining, if there's no lightning, that is my favorite time to run. And I kind of feel like for me, you know how some people can't sleep without a fan, the white noise?
Oh yeah, that's me.
Okay, I do too. That's what running in the rain does for me. It provides just this white noise that washes everything out. And it's kind of a purifying thing. So that's something that I will use. I'll go out and I'll hit a run. And then at the end of my run, I hit hard sprints all the way back. So by the time I get to my door, every step is measured in agony. And not, I'm dying, but I've truly given it my all. And I get to the door and I've just unleashed this massive amount of whatever I had. And it's a release. And I come back into my house. I'm tired. I take a super hot shower, and then I'm on even keel. Maybe a little fatigued, but I eat. I have a good post-workout routine that I do. And I feel better. And then we sit down and I'm with the kids, or we wrestle, or we have the trampoline in the backyard, where we're doing flips and back flips.
Love trampoline.
You like trampolines?
Oh, I love trampolines. They're the best. Keep going.
They're a lot of fun. So
they're great.
I think as long as you can find something for you as an individual, and something as the family, and it may not be everybody's favorite thing in the family, but everybody can sacrifice a little. This is what this person's favorite is. Let's do it with them. And it's can be unspoken or whatever the case is. Sometimes we just put on audiobooks on Alexa and have her read an audiobook, something with, wizards and warlocks. And my wife and I started binge watching Haven the other night, which was kind of cool. I was like, all right, yeah, it's keeping us up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So we got to end that soon, but it's fun. So it's just perspective, whether you like to read or work out or whatever. Just don't let the couch and the potato chips suck you in. Right.
I hear that. What I actually like to do, since I've been down to Florida and I finally have a car, I like to drive. It's funny you mentioned rain. I like to drive in the rain as long as it's not lightning. I like to drive in the rain, put on some 80s rock music, and I'm just going, wow, living on a prayer. I do it by myself.
I can't say too much on this, but
That's fine.
So a lot of people in quarantine are doing, they're like coming up with, you've got time, right? What do you do with it? Well, after you fixed everything in the house, or fixed it and then broken it again and then need to fix it again, what is there that's new that you can do? What is something you've always wanted to do that you haven't done? And for me, I reached out to a buddy who owns a music shop and has some really talented musical souls. And I was like, man, when I was in Afghanistan, I ordered a guitar and I started teaching myself on an iPad. And I didn't do very well. The first song I taught myself, I think, was Bad to the Bone, But it was only 3 chords, and I was like, I've got time in my tent in this 110-degree weather, hell, why not?
Yeah, right.
So I reached out to a buddy, and I said, hey, let's find a sponsor for a guitar and an amp and some lessons for a couple of songs, and I'm not going to say which ones.
Okay.
Except that they're badass rock.
Great.
And let's record me learning them from scratch. Like, I don't know anything. I learned a few things overseas and completely forgot them. I said, let's record me learning over time. We'll shoot videos will put together a compilation video, and then at one of these big shows somewhere in the world, let's shoot an actual music video, and I will wail on the guitar.
Yes.
For these songs. So
if you need a singer, I'm here for you.
okay, all right, that can happen. Maybe we'll pull out an 80s, I don't know, Pat Benatar or something. I don't know, something cool.
Yeah, we'll do it.
Stevie Nicks was awesome.
Yes.
Okay,
Do
so
it.
so little stuff like that. That's just fun. I'm like, you know, why not? Why not? And the kids get to see me doing something that I've never done before. They get to understand that, you know what? I'm not stuck with just what I know. Look at that. He decided to learn something new.
Exactly.
What can I learn now? And so, you know, little ways that you can quietly be a form of inspiration, even within your own household. So,
yeah, I think that's great. I think that's really important right now too. And I think a lot of people have been saying, you know, quarantine is a very special moment in history. If you want to look at it this way, it's a special moment in history to, like, everything has been forced to be put on pause. So now what self-reflection can you do with yourself and learn in order to, I guess, evolve or uplift yourself, or, you know, put yourself at a higher peak level that you wanted to do, but you're like, man, I'm too busy to do it. But now the universe is like, well, you keep saying you're too busy, and now you're kind of not. What are you going to do about it? You going to do something about it now?
yeah. And I mean, and that's really, I think, both a challenge.
Yeah.
It's a challenge for you to do something positive with this time. And, you know, we talk about mental health being an issue right now. Suicide rates are up considerably right now. A lot of people, especially people with PTSD, but not just. You know, and people, I think one of the things that everybody in America has got at least a little bit of in their heart is fear. You know, what's going on with the riots? What's going on with coronavirus? What's going on with my career? Will I ever go back to work? Will my husband or my wife ever go back to work? Or is my son going to be the next suicide statistic?
Yeah.
What, you know, everybody's got these little tinges of fear. And how do you manage that? Fear, listen, there's two kinds of people that will tell you they don't feel fear. Absolutely certified insane people who are truly certifiably insane may not ever feel a day of fear in their life. The other kind of person that will tell you they don't feel fear is a liar.
Yeah.
Everybody else gets it. So it's what you do with it when you have it. And it's not to, I'm not, what, man, I got thug life. What, player? Yeah. You know, it's not, stop, okay? You're not even fooling yourself.
Right.
What it is giving it a home, acknowledging it, qualifying why you feel that way. And I'm no psychiatrist, but I get it.
Right.
And then moving on. So the difference between the men and the boys, the girls and the women is, I'm afraid. But am I going to let it keep me from doing what I know is right? What's the next right thing I need to do? So, you know, people who get hung up on, I'm afraid, don't be hung up on it. Accept it.
Right.
Yep. And you have good reason to be. All of us do right now.
Right.
But now, what am I going to do with it? Yes, I've admitted that. What's next?
Yeah.
And it can be little. It doesn't have to be, I'm going to, redo Einstein's E equals MC squared. I mean, it's already been disproven anyway. So just set next steps and make them reasonable. They don't have to be these huge, far-reaching, world famous, or even family famous. It doesn't have to get everybody's respect. It doesn't need to get anybody's respect at first, except for yours.
Right.
If you can respect what you're doing, then you're on your way up and out of the oppression that comes with the word fear.
Yeah. And I think, sometimes too, I sit there and say, I think it's okay to give myself a break, because I have this, I'm a workaholic and I'm somebody that likes to be active and I like to do things. And it's like, I feel like I'm sitting here doing nothing. I should do more. I can do more here. I can do more there. And I think sometimes I have to allow myself to be like, it's okay you can kind of forgive yourself a little bit if you're not doing everything you feel like you need to do. And that's something that is hard for me right now in this mental state of quarantine.
Yeah. When so if you're one of these people, I mean, that you just have energy for days, you got people in the family, maybe one guy is the Volkswagen, another guy's the Ferrari, another guy's your dump truck, your heavy load carrier. And, then you got the kids that are like little zip around mopeds or, race bikes, whatever it is, finding ways, especially for those with tons of energy, because those are the ones that can drive everybody in the house crazy. Just as much a guy with no energy who's just depressed can drive everyone else in the house crazy too. Mm-hmm. If you're one of those that's super busy and you can't find stuff to do, or you're doing 5 million things, but you're doing them just for the purpose of doing them and because you have nothing else you could really be doing, I come back to exercise. Even when I'm at the computer and I hit those walls. I learned this when I was going through my second bachelor's degree. I just would hit that wall where I'd read the same page 5 times. And I still couldn't think what the hell was on the page. And I learned, I'd get up from my chair and I do 50 burpees, 100 burpees, do some crunches, go for a run, whatever it is. Even if it's just 10 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, depending on whatever shape you're in, just hit something to break the monotony and spend the energy. And when you do stuff like that, it's always a self-improvement thing.
Yep.
And in case you're one of those people that's like, well, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to work out in front of other people because I want to get in shape before I work out in front of other people. I mean, Captain Obvious should strike here. How are you going to get in shape without working out? I mean, you can eat right and lose a lot of weight. That's true. You can work out like a fiend, eat like garbage, and never lose a pound. That's true too. But if you're giving in to the fear of what other people think about your efforts to work out, then you've already failed step 1, which is acknowledge the fear and move on. Right. Move past it. Find something. So, go to your bedroom real quick, close the door, hit 10 push-ups, 20 push-ups, 30 push-ups, enough to get a pump or to get a little out of breath, and then roll over on your back and hit your crunches or your sit-ups, or your leg lifts, or hello dollies or burpees or whatever you want to do. It doesn't require any weights. It's just your body weight. And it gets the bloods going. It gets the endorphins going. And the second the endorphins fire, guess what goes up with that? There goes your mood. Yep. And you feel better. And you're more confident. Yep. So I agree. It's a good thing.
Yeah, I definitely agree. So if we can, speaking of good moves and getting things going, I want to talk a little bit about like what's on the docket for you right now creatively, because I know that you're still involved with, Comic-Cons, of course, have sadly been canceled for the year for the foreseeable future until, it's deemed safe for all of us to be kind of clustered together in a indoor arena. But you're still involved in the Power Rangers and you're still involved with your own personal projects. Can you talk to us a little bit about what you're doing?
Sure. Yeah. So I did a film a while ago with Lionsgate called, what was it called? Monsters at Large. And it's a kiddie film. And I had no intention of doing it. I didn't even know about it. They called me 2 days into shooting. Misha Barone, I think, was the lead actress. And there's a bit part for a husband who was some soap opera guy who canceled at the last minute. And a friend called a friend and he said, hey, are you interested? He called me and I drove up and filled in and played the husband. So I'm on camera maybe 15 minutes, but it's a great little film. It's a lot of fun. If you've got nieces, nephews, or, folks with littles, it's a good film. It's a lot of fun. Basically, my kids end up being monster busters and they have to get monsters out of other kids' closets. And it's all fun and games and they do it to psychologically help other kids. And then they discover a real monster.
Oh.
And so it's kind of fun. It's pretty cool. I did TV series called Fireball Run on Amazon Prime. That's, 5 million viewers or so. So that's out. You can check that out. I think it's 30 episodes. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, I did a film with John Schneider. You would know him from Dukes of Hazzard. I think it's Smallville. I think Smallville was the other one he was in, and it's called Tres Leches. It's a rated R comedy, and he is just now. In fact, I just put out the trailer. I need to re-release the trailer again. I play this really stupid cop, and this is very rated R. So,
Okay.
be cautious who you let watch this one, because
Very rated R.
it earned all of the R in that rating. So anyway,
Okay.
not just part of the R, all the R. There's no question.
Triple R.
Yeah, so that's a lot of fun. I'm just a dumb cop that his wife cheats on him, and he spends the whole film trying to run down who did it, and just ends up completely dejected at the end of the film. So it's pretty, but it's funny the whole way. So you should check that out. You can find that on John Schneider's Studios.
Okay.
I think he'll be releasing that one real soon. I feel like I forgot another one. I did another. Oh, Walk with Grace was a film I shot in Ohio. That is out. We have domestic distribution. That's moving along. It's doing great. That's on Amazon, not Amazon.
Great.
On Amazon. And then Black Salt Corruption is a video game that I have that I'm working out right now. And we just signed a deal with the NFL. So we've got some great sponsorship coming from them. And we should be out on Nintendo here like any day now. So Nintendo will be our first hit, our first platform we're going to release on, and then we'll be out on Xbox and PlayStation by the end of the year. And it was supposed to be last year, but we kept getting better offers. So negotiations just kept going.
Nice.
So that is going well. And I have my online store, www.austinstjohn.biz. I'm doing a lot of different stuff with that. I just brought in What's Your Passion Jewelry, and they do the whole Marvel lineup. So I haven't released it yet, but it's uploaded, and I'll be releasing that for sale to the public here very soon through our friend Ari. And then I'm speaking to several huge Power Ranger motif item guys. They do T-shirts, bags, socks. I don't know why, but I love the socks, just all the different cheesy Power Ranger socks. They make me happy. I don't know why. So all kinds of stuff, pens and hats. We'll be doing that. And I'm talking to some sponsors. I'm speaking with somebody at, I can't say, a huge nutrition sponsor.
Oh, nice.
And I'm hoping to bring in their entire nutritional line. So I'll end up expanding into my own workouts. Well, not my own workout supplements. I will be sponsoring other known workout supplements.
Great.
I just started another conversation with an athletic gear company. So I'm looking at opening up an athletic line. I've got all kinds of stuff going on. Off the top of my head, that's where I am.
Excellent. So, I mean, I'm happy to hear that you still have things in the pipeline and this coronavirus hasn't stopped it too much from happening and all that stuff. So that's great. That's also great. And then didn't you recently come back to Power Rangers?
Oh, yeah. So last April, I forgot. Last April, I was in New Zealand and I filmed Power Rangers Beast Morphers. And that's pretty cool. It's been a year and a half now since we filmed. And for the first forever, I couldn't talk about it. I still can't say a lot about it because it hasn't released yet, other than to say that I'm returning. But they didn't even let me say I was on it. I had to wait. I filmed in April, and I think June they flew me out to San Diego Comic-Con. They rented out one of the huge panel rooms, and we did this big release there to tell people I was coming back. But they literally had me in for a minute and a half on the stand, Your Honor, on the podium. And then they shuffled me out because they didn't want me taking too many questions. They're like, you cannot talk. So it should be airing sometime very soon.
Great.
On the networks. And it's Beast Morphers Season 2.
Are you, speaking of if we could talk a little bit about the Power Rangers legacy, I know this is so cheesy to ask because I'm sure a lot of people ask you this, but it's still wild to me that Power Rangers, and I was a kid when Power Rangers came out, like Power Rangers is still going strong. Like it's in 30 seasons now, 20, something insane like that.
20, yeah, really 27 seasons, maybe 28. Been around for a minute.
That's like Simpson. Yeah, it's like Simpson territory right now. Like that's amazing that IP is still going? Like, do you ever sit back and like kind of catch yourself going, wow, this thing that I helped start in the United States is still going really strong?
You know, it never ceases to be mind blowing. I mean, started in Japan in the 70s. They tried to bring it to the US in the 80s. Same guy, Haim Saban, brought it over in the 80s, couldn't get it made to save his life. Tried again in the 90s, and that's where my cast was, I guess, was cast. And it became the #1 show in the world for, I think, six or seven consecutive years.
Yeah.
Which was stupid. It aired in 40 countries and 90 languages, which I still back. And I'm just the sheer volume of people that incorporates. Pick any 40 countries. And we're into 1 billion plus, several billion people. India alone, where I know it aired, is 1 billion plus. You know, so I mean, just a volume. And the magnitude of the show is ridiculous. I think of shows that have been around that long that impacted me in a big way. I think of Star Trek. I think of Star Wars. I mean, I watched Simpsons. It wasn't a favorite, but you know, hey guys, you know, I mean, I still saw enough. I know the difference. So I mean, there aren't many shows that have been on that long. Star Trek and Star Wars are going into 6 generations. Power Rangers just now is crossing into its 3rd generation of fans. So I get people that will come up in their 50s and 60s, their 30s, 40s, and then all the way down to age 5. And I'm never sure who I'm talking to anymore. You know, which one was the fan? So it's mind blowing. It's mind blowing. But there's something in the show that anyone can identify with. And I think that's why.
Well, and I think I agree with you. I think that's why I'm such a fan as a filmmaker myself of ensemble cast, because the more color of characters, not just in race, but like in terms of the personalities, like the more diverse your personalities are in the ensemble group, the more somebody can kind of identify. Like Lord of the Rings is a great example. Like Lord of the Rings has so many different types of, not even just like you have the hobbits and the dwarves and the elves and the humans, but you know, they all have different quirky characteristics about them. So when you watch the trilogy of that, which I think they just celebrate their 25th anniversary, which makes me feel old. You know, when you look at that, you see, you can see a little bit of yourself in certain characters. And I think that was the same for Power Rangers. Like I think it was so cool that they had female Power Rangers, and, you know, the females were just as powerful. Like it was not, I know that Jason was like the leader, but like you needed all 5 of them to create the Megazord. You couldn't do it without all 5 of them. Yeah.
It was a team. And, you know, even within the writing, you know, not that anybody was doing any prolific writing in Power Rangers.
Right.
Yeah, the stories were not deep. But what they did have was a unity, and the team came together. But one episode might have been Kimberly's, where it was her struggles, and she had to overcome something as Kimberly, the high school girl, while battling as Kimberly, the superhero. And those characters had to meet in the middle. So what little girl that, you know, liked Kimberly couldn't go, wow, you know, here's my struggle, here's my issue. And, you know, Twee, who is my favorite Ranger of all time, she came over from Vietnam on a boat. Her, you know, on the boat, they thought that she was dead. And the other people hiding in the belly of the boat wanted to throw her over because they didn't want a body on the boat. That's how malnourished she was coming over. So Twee, who played Trini, is one of the strongest people I know or knew. And she came over and portrayed this very Zen-like, just, it reminds me of home. Like when I went home as a child, it was quiet. It was peaceful. It was very clean. It was safe. And I'm so blessed to have that, because I know many that didn't. So that's what Twee or Trini's character was for me. She reminded me of home. But she was strong. And she had the saber-tooth tiger, and she had her warrior, just whole persona. And Billy, who was the strong mentally. Without him, we didn't have any of the gadgets. We didn't have the morphers. We didn't have all this cool stuff. He had to put it together. You know what I mean? Everybody wasn't just a part of a team. They were a necessary ensemble in every episode, whether it was their feature episode or not. And I think with Jason, one of the things that I really liked doing with his character was leaving him magnanimous. I wanted him to be the character that walked softly but carried a big stick. And he was more than happy to let his team do whatever the team needed to do, or to shine wherever they needed to shine, and only step in when he had to. And I think that he had that faith and trust in his team, that he knew that they were capable. So he never had a problem doubting their abilities to overcome whatever was coming their way. And I think that was, how many of us would love to have, I never had a boss like that. No, maybe not. It would be nice to have, you know? So I think it was, I think it was cool. And then Walter was the first Black superhero. There wasn't, I mean, Black Panther was being written, but he wasn't on air. So Walter,
Blade wasn't on air yet?
Blade came out in the mid-90s. I think he was doing film.
Yeah, I think you're right.
So Walter was the first Black superhero. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure he was the first Black superhero out there. And I see him get never-ending questions from the Black community, asking him, or thanking, really they're thanking him for giving them someone that they looked like, that they could identify with and be proud of. So I think that's pretty awesome. I think it's really awesome.
And I think, you know, what's really great too, to go to the diversity of characters in Power Rangers, I love that they also make it a thing with the team members, that the entire cast is diverse in the sense, and even to this day, like you look at the current Power Ranger lineup, and every single season, they made sure to show representation of everybody. Really. Yep. So you could see yourself in there, and you needed to come together as a team. And I think that's why Power Rangers still remains relevant. And I just think it's so awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, it wasn't even just about identifying, oh, I could be that guy or that girl. I think there was also a sense of brotherhood and sisterhood and, you know, family. Guys have come up to me, you know, my father died when I was a kid, and you became the man I wanted to be, or she became the woman I wanted to be. I mean, I have had some comments from fans. I mean, we didn't just provide entertainment. We truly provided role models, and we didn't realize it in the beginning, but we provided role models for so many people, and that had such hardships at home, that have come to each and every one of us and told us, because of you, I got through my parents' divorce, alcoholic abuse with my stepfather, or, I mean, you name it. And one of our characters has helped provide the strength that somebody needed in their darkest hour. And, you know, that'll be something for another interview, but the story's on and on. It's incredible.
No, that's awesome. I would love to, you know, have a follow-up interview with that as well. But I know we're getting up to the hour here. So real quick, before I forget, is there any organization that you're involved with right now that you'd like Fambolt to give a shout out to in terms of helping people cope with what's going on with the pandemic and, you know, the whole protests and march and stuff like that?
You know, not relevant to COVID. I would say, you know, you need to check the CDC, understand the latest guidelines.
Okay.
As far as the riots go, I'm not coupled with any organization. No, it's not true. I'm coupled to something called common sense, and that's support. So, being a cop, putting on a uniform doesn't make you racist. Murdering somebody makes you a murderer, regardless of what color either party is. Hands down. So if that little voice inside your head says, you know what, this isn't a good idea, don't do it. We all have a voice. It needs to be heard peaceful. It needs to be heard through proper channels in a court of law. You have the ability to write congressmen, senators, mayors, governors. Start writing. We all have that voice. It's we the people. It's not them versus us, the people. And that's how this needs to be handled, in my humble opinion. As for charities that I work with, I'm heavily involved in the autism world with a charity called autismpower.org. And they're doing great things. We're getting ready to open up a organic farming structure that we will be building outside of Columbus, Ohio, where we can provide exceptionally high quality organic foods with a low greenhouse emission footprint, and we'll be able to ship worldwide. We're also going to do organic herbs, give people the ability to do self-healing. So some stuff like that.
Thanks, Austin, for talking. I'm going to let you go back, but I appreciate you, and I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay. Bye. Bye-bye.
Bye, Austin.